What is going on, guys? My name is Ojama and welcome to a new video. Today I have a few replays to show you guys of what I promised you a few weeks ago of the most powerful Yu-Gi-Oh deck to ever exist. I do not think there's a deck stronger than this, as you will see from these replays, which I had my good friend Double Bubble something or another, I can't remember his full name, here on Dueling Book help me out with. So thank you very much to him for helping me out with these replays, and let's get into it. I'm just going to copy and paste the links. I already have one of them copied. So we're going to go ahead here and start off with the first replay here. My opponent here was playing Glad Beasts. So thanking him there in Yellow Jama. There he is, the double bubble disco queen. That is his name here on Dueling Book. I had a lot of fun playing with him today. So let's get on with the replays. And as you guys can see, of course, the deck I'm first starting off with is Ojama ABC, or Ojama BC, something like that. I don't know how exactly to pronounce it. But this is what we're starting off with. You guys have noticed we don't talk in the chat. It's because we were actually on the phone talking to one another. But on with the duel. I start off by playing Dark Will Dealing, since I draw and discard. It can be really good if you draw into the Oja Magic. Unfortunately, my opponent ended up drawing into the Mist. Heavy Red Mist. And unfortunately, I didn't draw in anything really good to really help me out, so I just ended up summoning Gold Gadget, specialing the A from hand, and then I overlaid into Durgus here to go ahead and get a draw 2 and just try and fix my hand. I unfortunately didn't draw all that great. One big flaw with this deck is that if you don't draw good, you draw bad. So bad in the fact that you actually can't really even play. Which is really important. So I discard the C, and then I just set Call to the Grave and pass turn. And my opponent actually had a rather good turn here with his deck. He's actually not playing Dinos, believe it or not. He was showing me there he's putting the second Mist back with the effect of Sekka's Light, where Sekka's Light is basically just a pot of greed if you have no spell or traps, and for the rest of the duel, after you activate it, you can't activate spell or traps. I then went ahead and I called to the Grave his Mist, to make sure he couldn't use the effect. I should have activated it when he declared the effect, but I held off on it for whatever reason. Can't really tell you why. I just didn't think to activate it. And then my opponent goes ahead and summons TG Cyber Magician. So my opponent here is playing TGs, which apparently don't play any of their spell or traps. So basically this thing acts as the level 3 water synchro monster that you can synchro with monsters in your hand, basically. But they have to be TG monsters. And basically, if you control a TG monster, you can summon TGs from your hand. Apparently, he plays this to get the one TG dinosaur out of his deck, which is this one here, because then it just allows you to summon basically everything else. So continuing on here, he was thinking to do a synchro, or no, he just was going to link off in the Needle Fiber, summon something, and then link off this in Needle Fiber. So he just kind of skipped ahead a few steps, which is fine. I knew what he was doing. Then he goes ahead and makes TG Trident Launcher. Let's go ahead and read this thing real quick. 2+ effect monsters, including a TG Tuner. If this card is linked summon, you can special 3 TG monsters, one from the hand, deck, and grave. In defense position, to zones this card points to. Can't special monster as turn set TG monsters. Your opponent cannot target TG synchro monsters this card points to with card effects. This thing is actually really good for the deck, and in the deck, because he just got 3 TGs on the field, and has a link 3 now, which was really not good for me, considering I just had a number 60 Durgus. And then he had the effect of TG Screw Serpent to summon Rush Rhino out of his deck. And then he summoned this back with something. What did he summon that back with? I don't know, he summoned that with something. But anyways, then he goes into Hyper Librarian, probably one of the best synchros off the Krish. Just because that constant drawing. Then he goes ahead here and synchros into Dragonfly and then draws a card off TG Magician. Once turn target a synchro, I think he just kind of uses this as a stepping stone. Then he proceeds to synchro again, or that's what back. He made a misplay here. He didn't want to summon that, so he asked if we could take it back, and said sure, because we were just playing for fun, so it didn't really matter too much. Then he summoned Star Guardian, which is a quick synchro during the opponent's turn. On summon, you can special TG from your, or you can add a TG from your grave to hand, and once per turn during main phase, special TG monsters from your hand. So basically, whatever you add back, you can special summon, which he does with the drillfish, and then proceeds to synchro. Into Power Gladiator, which just does piercing damage and destroy your draw card. Then he proceeds to Excel Synchro into this big beefy boy Blade Blaster. Give him a quick read. I believe this is their boss monster. One tuner synchro and one non-tuner synchro, or more non-tuner synchro. During the turn, when your opponent activates a spell or trap card that targets the face of card, you can send one card from hand to the graveyard to negate the effect. Once per turn during your opponent's turn, you can banish the GG monster from your graveyard, banish the face of card. This is a quick effect. Then the next time phase, if this card is banished by this effect, you summon it back. So it's a spell or trap to negate, and then it can banish itself to dodge things. I think that's rather underwhelming for a boss monster. And then proceeds to attack me directly with his drillfish, because it can attack directly for 100 damage. And then use the effect to pop my Durgus, and then he swings with a 22, 24, and 33, which ended up being exactly game winner. So I lost that duel, and then we moved on to game 2 here. I don't think we weren't siding in these because we were just having some fun. This time I opt to go first again. This time my hand ended up being a lot better than last time. It may not look like it at first, but it really, really is. He was checking to see what his next draw was because he said his hand was so bad that it just depended on what his next draw would be if he didn't bother playing this one out. But I guess his hand was fine enough. So I activate Union Hank. We actually look Actually, I think we can go ahead and look at it right now. I've never played TG, so I have no idea. I mean, he got the miss, so I can only assume his hand was fine because he could just ditch it and special is level 1. But I activate Hanger to search Crush Wyvern, Dark World Dealings, give me a draw, and him a draw. He ditches Skeleton, and I ditch Ojama Pajama, which doesn't do anything when it's in the graveyard, so, and it wasn't going to do anything to really help me on field, plus I wanted my other combo pieces, so I just stuck with what I had. Then I normal Silver Gadget to special Crush Wyvern from my hand, use Union Hanger to equip B, and then I proceed to Xyz summon for Bujinti Tsunomi, which just lets me detach material, ditch my entire hand, and draw 2 cards. Really, really nice. And proceed to Ojamas, ditch Ojama yellow from my hand to add Orange Dragon number 3 and Ojama blue in my hand. I get the normal summon off of it. Summon on Dragon 3, activate Tsunomi effect, drop my hand, drop 2 new cards, got the nice Monster Born, and Ojama red. I then proceed to Link summon for IP Masquerena, quick link during the opponent's turn. Banish A, B, and C to summon ABC Dragon Buster. There's the big boy. And then a Monster Born for Ojama Blue just to fuel IP a little bit more, in case I wanted, or just to put up an extra little monster in the field. But if he decides to run it over, I then got to get off 2 searches, which then really, really good. My opponent goes to draws per turn. He drives Catapult Dragon, an interesting card. He activates the effect of Mist, and he needs the effect to banish it, and special the TG from the deck. And I proceed to use Dragon Buster to banish it, and then I tribute it to summon out A, B, and C from my banished. And I was going to go ahead and quick link, but he just scooped it out there, because I guess he couldn't do much. I feel like he could have done something though with this hand, but that was game. That was that. And then I had another replay here for you guys. It's a little bit of a different deck, but still very, very powerful deck nonetheless. So let's go ahead and boot it up here. But yes, that was Ojama ABC, and this is on to the next deck here. Another really, really funny deck. Again, still playing against my friend Double Bubble Disco Queen. Get through it. I opt to go first because this deck just wants to shut down the opponent from playing. I actually opened a really good hand. My opponent just happened to have the one kind of really good out. Here's my opponent's playing Glad Beast. Where is it? Yeah, he had the Infirm. he ended up drawing into an Imperm. But I go ahead and I activate Pot of Extravagance to banish a bunch of my extra deck cards and then draw. So it didn't really matter. I drew into the lovely Oja with a Fusion Recycling Plant, which is just super, super nice. Basically, that just gets you Ojama King for free. So I go ahead and I discard the Oja to search Polymerization, then use Oja to search out each of the Ojama brothers, black, green, and yellow. He did tell me at the time that he had the Imperm in hand, so he was just going to get rid of Ojama King's effect. But I still go ahead and I make the Ojama King because it was going to end up being 3,000 attack points, and it would put an Ojama on the field so I could mess with his monster's attack points. And then I was checking my banish to see if I had any Xyz that I could summon. I unfortunately banished my only Xyz monster, so I just went ahead and set Ojama Blue and passed turn. And there you go, he Impermed my Ojama King, but he still had his 3,000 attack points, which is really nice. Activates Glad Beast Rejection, which I can't target his Glad Beast monster except during battle phase. And then if a Glad Beast monster is summoned from his deck, he can summon one from his deck. He can summon one from his deck with a different type from those that he already controls. And then he goes and activates Ground, which just searches a Glad Beast. After he summons the rabbit, he banishes the rabbit to attempt to summon two, and I just go ahead and hit him with the old Ash. And then Glad Beast come back. Fun fact, not a once per turn. So he summons the Glad Beast from his hand, specials Test Panther, tributes Test Panther to put that one back into the deck and summon Bensari, or however the hell you pronounce that. Pops my field spell, which is really unfortunate because now my Ojama King is worthless basically here. Proceeds to battle, hits me for 23, and then he kills my Ojama Blue. Thankfully he killed that. If he didn't kill it, I don't think I could have done anything because he just could have waited to next turn to set up to kill me. So I go ahead and I search Oja Magic and Oja Match. And then my opponent does his tag outs, summoning Noxus and Esquire. And then he mills with one of those effects, and then he adds Come Back to his hand. He then linked into Test Panther to go ahead and activate his effect to add a Glad Beast card from his deck to his hand. I wonder what he would search. Come Back, because guess what? Not a once per turn. And then after his comeback, summons back Andal, Test Panther, shuffles it back in deck to summon a Darius, which Darius special Glad Beast back from the graveyard, or adds one. Or I guess it adds. Or maybe that's what he's doing. He added it by accident and special the field, and then he activates comeback because once again, comeback is not once per turn. Or no, he wasn't able to activate it because he had a Beast Warrior, and that's the only target he had was a Beast Warrior, so he wasn't legally allowed to activate it. But it goes and he makes another link play here, making the ever famous Cross Sheep, which I think they just misnamed, and it was meant to be named Fluffle Cross Sheep. And then he goes and activates the comeback to bring it back, since he now has a new target, and then proceeds to Contact Fusion into basically a vanilla, its only effect being its summoning requirements, which is rather funny. Cross Sheep to bring back the Test Tiger, and then proceeds to link into an Appaloosa with 3 material. I thought this would be really, really hard to play around, but I go and I summon Rescue Cat to force out the Appaloosa, Oja Match, ditch the Oja Magic, add Armed Dragon level 3, and Ojama Red, and then Magic to search all 3 Ojamas. Basically, my opponent at this point was just banking on the Appaloosa to hold me at bay because they had nothing left, no resources left. And then I get my normal summon off the Oja Match, activate Ojama Country. I then attempt to normal summon Ojama Red, forgetting that I summoned the cat this turn, so I didn't have a normal summon. I go and I check my graveyard for something, or I was just going to summon back blue, and then I realized I can summon any Ojama monster, and then I realized I can summon back the king, and now I had a 3,000 beat stick on the field, and I could easily kill this Appaloosa with 600 attack points. And that was game 1. Then we move on to game 2. At this point, my friend was telling me he was getting real sick of Ojamas, just having to play against them at all. Here we go. Next game, my hand was really, really bad. Unfortunately, I didn't have the Ash this time for the rabbit, so he managed to go like just completely full combo here, just insane Glad Beast stuff. So we're just gonna fast forward this up because it goes for a little bit. Pets Panther starts to come back, not once per turn. Uh, Checking his deck for something, summon that thing, summon Angus, and then use Angus effect to special summon there, link it to Cross Sheep, and then Contact Fuse. A little bit, it's starting to lag a little bit. Summons out probably one of the best Glad Beast monsters in the extra deck, Editor. Not a hard once per turn. You can just special another Glad Beast from your extra deck. Summons back and all of the Cross Sheep. This is what he special summons off Editor, which is basically there's a monster negate and he controls my battle phase. It then proceeds to make an Appaloosa with 3 material once again, and then activates Comeback, because it's not once per turn, brings back Editor, activates the Editor effect, summons this thing, which I don't think it even matters, can destroy a battle, attacks opponent can't activate card effects, and then you can shuffle back. It proceeds to overlay into number 97, Dragublon, or whatever, which basically then he summons out number 100 and number 38. So he ends off with a Omni Monster Negate, or ends with a Monster Negate, 3 more Monster Negates, Spell Negate, a Shared Ride, and he ends up controlling my battle phase. So what can I do about this? Not much, to be honest. A little bit of a glitch that happened there, and it's showing my extra cards. I don't think he knows though. He goes and negate it. I had to activate it to start, so I might as well just get rid of his negate now to see if I had some other playing around it. And then he agrees on letting me proxy for a Link Spider, because I forgot to put one in his extra deck before this. But then he changed his mind on it because I could have ended up banishing it off the Pot of Extravagance, which is entirely fair. It was 100% possible for that to have happened. So I took back the summon and all, and then I realized I'll just do this instead. So I summon the Ojama country, activate the Ojama country, attacking the Appaloosa, making a joke that it only had 4 attack points. I proceeded to go and attack this, so I'd take 2 extra points of damage, and send it to the graveyard, so that I could activate something. Oh, I wanted to activate Ojama country so I could dump this, but then he reminds me he controls my battle phase, so he forces me into attacking Jabulon. So I take 2,000 points of damage since Ojama Green has 1,000 attack points, and my monster doesn't get destroyed, so I just immediately scoop because I couldn't do anything. We then go into game 3 here. Who was first? Got a little bit of lag. It's happening in building book typically. I end up going first. I draw into double pot, so I go ahead and I pot right off the bat. And ooh, my opponent got Shared Ride again. World of Legacy Possession. I didn't know he was down there. But I go and I normal summon Ojama Red. I double check something to make sure of it. I should have checked this beforehand, but it worked out just fine. I especially the other Ojama Red from my hand, and then special summon Ojama Yellow. And then I proceed to make Ojama Emperor, which, give this guy a little read. 3 beast monsters, including an Ojama monster. While Ojama Country is in a field zone, this card gains 3,000 attack points, also can't be destroyed by card effects. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from attacks on this card instead. So you can't crash it, your opponent has to attack into it, which works fine because people don't read cards. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! We don't work in the library. We're not going to read card effects. You can target a non-link Ojama in your graveyard and special summon, but for this turn, you cannot summon monsters in the extra deck except fusion monsters. So I just go ahead and summon back Ojama Yellow just to put up another little wall. Go ahead and set Ojama Pajama, which if armed dragon monster or light machine fusion monster will be destroyed by battle with card effect, and banish an Ojama card from my hand or face the field instead. And once we're in the main phase, I can add an Ojama card from my deck to my hand and then discard a card. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, I can special summon as many of my banished Ojamas as possible. He summons the rabbit, activates rejection. I have the Ash this time to stop the rabbit. He goes and he sets Shared Ride. During the end of his main phase, I declare I was acting Ojama Pajama. to add Oja Magic and discard it, which is probably the best play you can do with Ojama Pajama. And then my opponent proceeds to scoop because he's like, I'm just sick of Ojamas at this point, which is I thought was really, really funny. I then draw into Polymerization to make Ojama King again, basically. But I go ahead and I see what I want. I want to see what I'm drawn into, which would have been Ground Collapse. So I could have just locked out all of his monster zones, basically. Because I could have locked out 3 with Ojama King, and then Ground Collapse, lock out the other ones. But I didn't have any way of dealing with damage since all Ojamas have 0 attack. But that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed these little replays of me showing off the most powerful decks in existence. I don't think there'll ever be a deck as powerful as these. And thank you again to my friend Double Bubble Disco Queen for helping me get these replays. And again, I hope you guys really enjoyed these. More to come in the future. Let me know if you guys like these, what kind of decks you'd like me to play on here. And I'll do them if I'm good enough for the decks. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, whatever you feel like. And I'll see y'all in the next one. See you guys.